So finally Karbala tragedy has arrived. The 10th of Muharram, 61 AH 680 CE. As dawn broke on the 10th of Muharram, a solemn stillness enveloped Hussein's camp. The air was heavy with anticipation and resolve. Imam Hussain gathered his companions for final prayers. "Today we stand for justice," he declared, his voice steady and resolute. Each word resonated deeply, fortifying their spirits for the trials ahead. With the first light, Hussain rode out, surveying Yazid's forces. The vast army, led by Shimr ibn Thiljawshan, stood ready to crush Hussein's small band. "We fight not for victory, but for truth," Hussain reminded his followers. Hur ibn Yazid al-Riyahi, now an ally, stood by his side, his eyes reflecting a newfound determination. As the sun rose higher, the two armies faced each other, the tension palpable. "This is our moment," Hussain said quietly, his gaze unwavering. The battle was about to begin, and each warrior in Hussein's camp knew the gravity of the day. By noon, the silence broke with the clash of swords. The first to fall from Hussein's camp was Ali al-Akbar, his bravery shining as he fought valiantly. "I fight for my father, for justice," he cried, striking down numerous foes before being martyred. His death was a devastating blow, but it only strengthened the resolve of Hussein's followers. One by one, Hussein's companions entered the fray, each fighting with unmatched courage. Zuhair ibn Qayn, a stalwart supporter, fought fiercely until he, too, was martyred. "We die, but our cause lives on," he proclaimed with his last breath. The battlefield was a scene of chaos and valor, the sounds of clashing steel and battle cries filling the air. The desert sun beat down mercilessly on Karbala, baking the earth and turning the air thick with dust. Hur ibn Riyah, a seasoned warrior with a reputation for unwavering loyalty, sat astride his horse at the head of a contingent of Umayyad soldiers. His orders were clear: block Imam Hussein's passage to Kufa at all costs. Hur, a man of honor, felt a knot of unease tighten in his gut. Rumors swirled about Imam Hussein's motives. Was he truly a rebel, a threat to the caliphate, or was something more sinister at play? As Hur approached Imam Hussein's camp, the sight that greeted him sent shivers down his spine. There, surrounded by a meager collection of tents, stood a man radiating an aura of serenity. Imam Hussein's face, etched with sorrow, held a nobility that transcended any threat. Hur dismounted, his heart pounding a frantic rhythm against his ribs. He had expected a fiery rebel, not a man of quiet dignity facing an uncertain future. Days turned into a tense standoff. Hur, torn between his duty and a growing sense of injustice, witnessed the suffering of Imam Hussein's camp. The water blockade, the desperation in the eyes of the children. These were not the hallmarks of a rebellion. They were the desperate measures of a man seeking justice. One sweltering afternoon, as the desert wind whispered secrets through the parched earth, Hur could bear the weight of his doubts no longer. He approached Imam Hussain, a tremor running through his voice as he confessed his turmoil. The Imam, his eyes filled with understanding, welcomed Hur with open arms. In that moment, under the unforgiving gaze of the desert sun, Hur made a choice that would forever etch his name in history. He cast aside his loyalty to a corrupt caliph and embraced the righteous cause of Imam Hussain. The once loyal soldier transformed into a defiant rebel, ready to face the consequences of his newfound conviction. News of Hur's defection sent shockwaves through both camps. The Umayyad soldiers looked on with disbelief while Imam Hussein's camp erupted in cheers. Hur, the man who held the key to Imam Hussein's fate, had become his shield. The stage was set for a clash that would forever alter the course of history, and Hur, the warrior with a restless soul, was ready to stand his ground against insurmountable odds. As afternoon approached, the battle intensified. Abbas ibn Ali, Hussein's brother, became a symbol of unwavering strength. Tasked with fetching water for the thirsty camp, Abbas fought his way to the riverbank, filling a water skin despite the onslaught of enemy forces. "For the children," he whispered. But on his return, he was ambushed and martyred, his arms severed, the water spilling onto the parched ground. The loss of Abbas was a deep wound for Hussein and his companions. "We fight on," Hussein urged, his heart heavy but his spirit unbroken. The remaining fighters, driven by their love for Hussein and their belief in their cause, continued to resist with fierce determination. Each moment was a testament to their bravery and faith. The Yazidi forces, though overwhelming in number, faced a resistance that defied the odds. Hussein himself fought valiantly, inspiring his followers with his unyielding courage. With a heavy heart, Imam Hussain gave the order to begin. Zayd ibn Arqam, a close companion, raised his voice in the traditional call to prayer, a stark contrast to the clash about to unfold. Despite being vastly outnumbered, Hussein's camp, led by skilled warriors like Abbas ibn Ali, charged forward with a ferocious battle cry. The initial clash was fierce. Swords clashed with a deafening clang. Arrows rained down like a deadly storm. and the cries of the wounded echoed across the battlefield. The Yazidi forces, though initially surprised by the ferocity of the attack, soon began to assert their numerical superiority. One by one, despite their valiant efforts, Hussein's companions fell. Ali ibn Ali and Muhammad ibn Ali, young nephews of the Imam, were among the first to be martyred, showcasing the immense sacrifice made by the Prophet Muhammad family. As evening fell, the battle reached its tragic climax. Hussein, now alone, faced the enemy forces with unmatched valor. His companions had all been martyred, each falling with the words of justice and faith on their lips. "We stand against tyranny," Hussein declared, his voice unwavering despite the encroaching darkness. Shimr ibn Thiljawshan approached Imam when he was on his knee. In a final act of defiance, Hussein fought until he could no longer stand. Shimr's blow struck him down, and the enemy forces surrounded him. With his last breath, Hussein prayed for justice and mercy. Shimr severed Hussein's head, raising it as a trophy, but the martyrdom of Imam Hussain became a rallying cry for justice that would echo through history. Imam Hussain embraced Shahadat. Along with him, his companions honored justice, dignity, and resilience against evil, oppression, and falsehood. A heart-wrenching cry of innocence came from Hussein's camp, "My Hussein!" And Imam Hussain, the grandson of Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, the son of Ali ibn Talib, looked up at the sky and said, "O my Allah, I'm pleased with you. Are you pleased with me?" Then he fell to the ground and bowed his head before Allah Almighty. His sajda was so graceful that the earth had never received such a one before. Even the Yazidi forces were taken aback by his grace and courage. The Imam's camp was silent. Only a few infants and women remained there. Imam Hussein's refusal won the battle. A silence tells that this world has lost its grace. The world had lost a pearl that will never come again. A true leader sacrificed his life for Allah, but saved Islam, setting an example for the rest of history.
The air stopped, the sky remained silent, and the earth trembled with fear, awaiting the next order from God. Imam and his companions gave their lives, thirsty and fighting with unmatched resolve. Death seemed to hide from them, and water was desperate for their lips. Living and dying for a cause made them true heroes. More than 100 were killed from Yazid's camp, scattered and uncared for after their deaths. They were merely used against Imam Hussain. The world has not seen such courage before. The camp of Hussain, though decimated, left an enduring legacy of courage and faith. The sacrifice of Imam Hussain and his companions on the 10th of Muharram became a symbol of resistance against tyranny, inspiring generations to uphold the principles of justice and truth. Don't miss out on what happened to Imam Hussein's remaining family members and the fate of those who killed him. Did they survive long? No. Watch our next video, Aftermath of the Karbala Tragedy. We'll tell you exactly what happened next. Stay tuned.